What up, though? This is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313, and we are here today on this live streaming. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and we should also be on Twitter. So if you're on any of those platforms, check us out, leave a comment, give a like, follow the pages, and if you got any questions or comments, leave those as well. I got my guy here, Samp from the Samp and Chance podcast, who's joining us. We were supposed to have Joe Monroe with Professor Bear, but they couldn't make it. But we still gonna give them a shout out. What up to you fellas? And we'll definitely get you on a future episode.
I gotta tell you, man, right off the bat, a lot of the people that I talked to after we did the last one, Professor Bear's got a lot of fucking fans, man.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Straight up, the number one thing I heard most, they love his laugh.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
What's been going on with you, Sam?
Well, since we last talked, we had the Royal Rumble. Everything was beautiful there. A long show, longer than I expected. Other than that, we're like I was telling you before we got live. Yeah, winter has finally come to Vancouver. We got snow and all that good stuff that we laugh about for the rest of the people. So yeah, we're finally in winter. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. It looked like it's about to hit here in Michigan in a couple of days. So it's supposed to, they talking about an ice storm coming. So, keep my fingers crossed on that.
Well, hey, man, I mean, what's worse, snow or ice storms? I've never experienced an ice storm.
You know what? It's like the freezing rain. It's like the night, like when it get dark, sometimes like at nighttime, like it'll still be warm. But as the day goes along, it'll start getting colder. So I guess when the rain hits the ground and as it gets colder, that's that's how the ice develop or whatever.
So when I think of ice storm, I think of icicles, like the raindrops actually becoming icicles. Like that'd be pretty.
Yeah.
That's all cool to be outside, man.
Yeah.
People getting stabbed and shit.
Right. on some Sub-Zero type stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Mortal Kombat.
Right.
There you go. Quick question though, just off the top of my head, you're in Michigan proper, right? Or you're in Detroit proper, right?
Yeah.
How far is Flint from you?
I think Flint is like 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Interesting. Is Flint a big town or is it just like?
I've never been in Flint. I
45 minutes away, man. Why wouldn't you go?
Huh?
Why wouldn't you go to Flint, man?
No, I've never been there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a I wouldn't say it's a big town. I would probably say it's medium sized.
Okay. Cool. Only reason I'm asking, Clarissa Shields fought on the weekend. That was her homecoming. So I'm just kind of curious about Flint, like what it's all about. Is it like a
But that was the city where they had the where the water system was real bad.
Exactly.
And people was getting sick. Yeah. And
okay, now I can understand why you didn't go. I appreciate that.
That ain't had nothing to do with that, but if I ever got a chance to go there, I would go.
Fair play. It's kind of like when you live in a town, you end up never going to probably 3/4 of any of the places there because you live there, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I lived in Toronto. I lived in Toronto for 2 years, and when I opened my windows, my view was the CN Tower.
Okay.
So for the 2 years that I lived there, I never went to the CN Tower until like the last 2 days before I moved back to Vancouver.
Okay.
So I can understand that. I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we end up going to places when the relatives come to town.
Right. Shout out to Flint and shout out to Clarissa Shields because she just won her last fight, right?
She did, man. I gotta tell you, she is the GOAT. I get it. She is everything that she says that she is, and nothing but respect to her. When it comes to female boxing, I believe in the next 15 to 20 years, it's just only going to get better because the influences of the Clarissa Shields, the Amanda Serranos, the Katie Taylors in Ireland, Alicia Baumgartner, another Detroit native.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, girls like them are the ones that are really opening the doors. So I'm expecting some great things to come out of women's boxing in the near future here. But right now, you look at these five girls that I mentioned. There's not much for them to really choose from in terms of really strong competition.
yeah, yeah,
The best fight I've seen would have to be Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, which were probably the two closest in terms of skill, ability, and just knowledge of the game, the psychology of it all. So
right.
that's what I feel like. We're completely going off on a tangent here, but that's what female boxing needs are stars like that right now to build up the sport, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like Tiger Woods, for example. Yeah, when Tiger came into the game, everybody who came after him tried to play and model their game after him.
yeah, yeah,
So it takes generational talents to set the wave in motion and open that door for other young ladies and girls to be inspired to do so, right? So
yeah.
we'll see where it goes. So that being said, yeah, it was an okay fight. I wouldn't call it spectacular. Um, what can you say, bro? I mean, it's like WNBA. It's like the WNBA. No disrespect to them either, but there's levels.
Hey, shout out to the WNBA. I love the
No, don't
WNBA.
get me wrong. I'm
Yeah,
totally down with it. I respect all of it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, okay, hockey, for example. You're a Red Wings fan?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
So, and I don't mean this in any disparaging way to anybody, but the way girls hit the puck off the ice to the way the guys hit the puck off the ice, it's very different.
Oh yeah,
Right.
most
So,
definitely.
it's just that level thing. Is the game is still beautiful. No matter what sport they're all competing in, but there's just certain levels. I don't know
Yeah,
how else to put it that way. Like without sounding disparaging or disrespectful, because I'm one of the biggest purveyors of female sport. Don't get me wrong. Right.
yeah,
On our
yeah,
show, I'm the guy who's constantly pushing the females, pushing the females. So
yeah.
there's just some sports that just you can tell that there's levels apart.
Oh yeah. But I will say this about the women's game as far as like basketball. The women play hard. If
I'm
you
sure they
see
do.
that All-Star game that they had
Yeah,
in the summer
yeah,
compared to the last NBA All-Star game where everybody scored 200 points,
yeah, yeah,
like that was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that women's sports is on the come up. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's
Mhm.
different from the men's game, but you got a lot of great women um, basketball players that are really gonna turn the sport around.
But
That's
and that's what we're seeing, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, you got that Reese girl,
yeah. Angel Reese,
Angel
Caitlin
Reese,
Clark.
Caitlin Clark. Like, these are the girls that came up from the other ones that were there before them. So you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're inspired by the older generation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, NBA, in my opinion, I think it's the worst of all four major sports in North America. I can't. I grew up watching an NBA where you had to fight for every point.
that's true. That's
Now
true.
you got guys like LeBron wearing a maid's costume, and you can't touch nobody. No one can get hurt. Like it's, dude. The NBA sucks. Honestly,
Hey man, I love the NBA, but you know what?
college
I
ball for me,
think
man.
and I grew up during that time too. I grew up during that time, and you got to think about the last time that they were really playing defense and the last time that they were really playing physical as far as like the defense, and that was around the time the Pistons had after they won in '04 when
Yeah,
they went back to the finals in '05 and '06 and they played the Spurs. People didn't like that finals because they said it was boring, and then that's when they started to change the rules to make the game more offensive. And it's like now that the game is so offensive, now they want to go back to
yeah, but
playing.
dude, it should have never have changed though. Like, I mean,
I agree.
you
I agree.
you look. Would LeBron have fared? And I'm not a huge NBA fan, so please, I apologize if I'm saying anything wrong here. how would LeBron fared during the Jordan era in his prime with the
I
pushing, the shoving, and you know what I mean? Like most of these awesome talents, I'm not saying they don't have game. They got game, but no one's guarding them.
That's
Jordan
true, but
Jordan had Jordan had 0.12 seconds to get off a shot. LeBron now has 3 seconds.
that's true. That's true. But and I say this, I think the guys of today will be good in back in the day, and the players from back in the day would be just as good as they would if they were playing in this era. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, of course. I understand what you're saying, but it's just that pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
look what does pressure do? It creates diamonds.
yeah,
There's no diamonds anymore, man. They're all wearing them in their teeth,
yeah.
right?
I feel you.
it's, it just it's more of a gimmick. It feels to me as a casual man looking on the inside at the NBA now,
Yeah.
right?
You know, you know what? We might have to get a sports podcast outside of wrestling
Let's do
and
it,
talk about some of this stuff. You know what I'm
dude.
saying?
Let's do it. You know what? I think you and I are the perfect guys to do it. But brother, let's get into it, man. Let's talk what we
oh,
came here to talk about.
oh yeah, let's talk about this Royal Rumble. When this past Saturday, like I would have to say, it was a real good Royal Rumble.
Mhm.
It was only 4 matches, but you know what? The both Royal Rumble matches were good.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were upset about the winners, and I had no problem with it. You know
No.
what I'm saying?
No.
I think you had picked last week when we did the roundtable. I think you picked Charlotte Flair, if I'm
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
You picked Charlotte
I
Flair.
did
I
pick
went with
Charlotte.
Naomi.
Yeah.
And I just think that both Royal Rumble matches were good. They did something that they always used to do in the past, and they used the Royal Rumble as an opportunity for somebody that never won it. You know what I'm saying? And just overall, I think it was a very, very good pay-per-view. Um, we're gonna run down all the matches and stuff and talk about those.
Sure.
Real quick, what did you think about the PLE overall?
Okay. First off, 4.5 hours long. That was the first thing. 4 matches. Granted, the two rumbles are an hour and a bit each, right? Um, what's going on, Jonathan? But you know what? It didn't feel like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
It didn't feel like it. In terms of both rumble matches, phenomenal. I had no problem with either one. Well, maybe phenomenal is a little bit, too much, but I tell you what, man, it was a good show overall. I loved the direction of it, how they eliminated. Like, if you look at the females rumble, for example, there wasn't a single elimination until maybe 15, 16 girls were in the ring,
yeah,
which is different, right? Usually, you get waves, ups and flows, but in this case, they had 15 girls, and how they eliminated a bunch of them at the same time was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The female rumble had more outside, individuals coming through there, and the men's side I found interesting. There were no NXT guys in there. The only
Yeah.
the only outside guy to come into this match was Joe Hendry.
Hey, that made my day right there. When Joe Hendry, I was like, you gotta put Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble. It,
Well,
it, it was only fair.
Chance, this to be fair, my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. Chance Michaels, picked Jey Uso to win.
Oh, he did?
He did. He even made a comment, like, he even commented on the last one that we were here with the professor and the gang. He put a comment up saying, yeah, he's picking Jay. And honestly, that completely went past me. He's not wrong in that, because if you think about it, the Yes movement, the Kofi Kingston movement, right?
Yeah,
This is basically the Eat movement. But the problem with the Kofi one and the Yes movement, it was kind of forced. It was written into the story that this is what this was all about.
yeah,
Whereas Jay winning was more organic
yeah,
than anything
yeah,
else, even though so many people are behind him. And I'm happy he won. And I'm happy that Charlotte won, I guess, to a certain extent, because outside of Charlotte, I didn't really know who else could have taken that opportunity at that time.
right,
Right.
right.
But with Jay, it looks really good because it's different. Let's look at the last 5 to 6 WrestleManias. Who's main evented them all? 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
Seth, Punk, well, maybe not Punk, but Seth, Roman, definitely, Brock, he's not in the Rumble, obviously, but I'm just saying, we've had the same matches with different guys for the last 4 or 5 years at Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to have it flip around like this is really good. I said to Chance on our show today, which you guys can check out on YouTube at Samp and Chance. Sorry for the cheap plug,
Oh,
but
oh, no
I,
problem. Go
I
ahead.
talked about we talked about it there. Like this is good because for me, I said this is the gamble that the WWE has to make, right? In
Yeah.
terms of creating and uplifting new talent to a next level. What
Yeah.
better stage to do this at, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, if you ask me, I'm going to ask you, who should he face?
I think you should face Gunther.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
gotta finish that story, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not tripping about Jey Uso winning, because this is all part. This is his part of the bloodline story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He didn't
no,
run. He didn't got away from Roman. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? He came back for a minute to help him at War Games,
yeah.
but it's still all about him telling his story. You
No,
know,
and
basically being a main event
uh,
superstar.
15 years on that roster, okay?
Oh yeah,
Nobody's ever going to be happy with any show. There's always going to be that 1 or 2, 20, 50 people living in their mom's basements, clicking away at their keyboards that aren't going to be happy about it, right? And
right.
that's human nature. That's just the way it is, right? You can
Yeah,
cook for 50 people, but you're going to find that one guy or girl who says, "Nah, it was okay." You know, Jay's earned this opportunity. Everyone who's on that roster has earned the opportunity to be where they're at. I want to say that quite clearly. We're not there. We only see them when those cameras come on.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
We don't see them doing the loop. We don't see them catching flights in the middle of the night. We don't see them driving from town to town. We don't see them, you know what I mean? The struggles are real. Like,
yeah,
it's legit. The guy earned this opportunity. Now, him and Gunther, I think, would be the best choice. I don't want to see him fight Cody. In fact, I'd be very, very disappointed if that was the program that they go with, because the only way I can see that working is if Cody becomes a heel,
yeah, yeah,
right? But with Gunther, it's set, man. I mean, the promo that Gunther cut on him last night was amazing.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
now Chance did this, and I have to agree with him. The only downside to Jey Uso right now is that the guy can't work the mic. He
yeah,
needs to do better on the stick, right? So hopefully, a program with Gunther will develop that better for him, in my opinion. That's all my thinking is, because Gunther said it best. I don't want you to pick me because it won't do anything for my legacy. And if you pick me, I will make fun of you and I will humiliate you week after week.
yeah, yeah,
I want to see that,
yeah, yeah. Me too. And I
right?
real quick want to give a shout out to the Holy Shit Podcast, Detroit brothers. What up, though, fellas? Uh,
Holy nice.
Make sure y'all check them out on YouTube. They always
Will
got
do.
good content. I also want to shout out John from the Sports for You podcast. Check them out on YouTube.
So, Pam
Check,
Jonathan,
yeah, and they also got the Sports for You wrestling podcast. They get and that comes on Wednesday. So if
cool.
y'all watching this, make sure y'all check them out.
Very cool. Very cool.
And we got Williams Wrestling. What it do?
What do you
Vancouver,
do?
BC in the
What's going
house.
on, Flying Reigns? I know William here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. The
Yeah.
one thing that I will say that I liked about the women's Royal Rumble compared to the men's, they did an excellent job putting in the women from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason why that the men's Royal Rumble should not have at least 2 guys from NXT. You know what I'm saying?
The
Like,
only guy, honestly, the one guy that should have been there, because they had outside of Braun, and again, this is something that Chance and I were talking about. Outside of Braun Strowman, there were no big men in there. Omos didn't show up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You should have had Obi Femi in there.
I
If
agree.
you're gonna if you're gonna have TNA's world champion, then you should have had NXT's world champion.
I agree. I agree. And they and I don't know what it is. They don't do a good job by putting the men from NXT in the men's Royal Rumble. They
Well,
do an excellent job with the women.
look
Because
at
you
the list.
had,
Look at the list of the guys we had in the Rumble. There was no Austin Theory. There was no Grayson Waller. There was no New Day, who have a big storyline going on right now. But you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, where was Kofi? I would have loved to seen a heel Kofi try to get back into the ring the way he did for the last 10, 12 years.
Right.
Right? You know?
But you know what? And then it's too, and then I thought about it too. Like the men's roster is so deep. It's like who would you have taken out to put in from NXT? You know what I'm saying? Because I
Well,
think, like you said, Obafemi, and I also think Trick Williams, him
Trick should have
coming
been there
out,
too.
and everybody screaming, "Whoop that Trick!" Man, that would have
Yeah.
been like one of the biggest pops of the night.
I was hoping for Trick to come out because I wanted to see what would happen with him and Carmelo. If
Yep.
that's what I was hoping for, right?
Yeah.
But look, the spots that were probably meant for those individuals was taken up was taken up by a John Cena, a Roman Reigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CM Punk, guys that haven't been in the Rumble. Like, okay, Punk was in there last year, but Seth, there's 4 or 5 guys in there that haven't been in a Royal Rumble because they've been busy doing everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I think made it harder. Having AJ come back, I would have saved AJ. I don't think AJ needed to be in the Royal Rumble, in my opinion, because it didn't really do anything for him. Right.
I agree
Right.
with that.
I had no problem with Penta being in it because he is a big star, and having him and Ray started off kind of like a passing of the torch in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of cool. And if you think about it, Penta fucked up a little bit too, because both his feet did touch the ground.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Right.
I said the internet is about to get on him for real.
Oh, dude, but I mean, God bless Jey Uso, he won, so they all forgot about that and started shitting on him. So,
Yeah. And I don't understand it. It's like, okay, I understand people was mad. He was the Intercontinental Champion and he lost. And then he lost to Gunther at Saturday night's main event. But this is nothing but his story. Just think about first of all, he's going to win at WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Just think about when he finally wins the title in Las Vegas in WrestleMania, everybody doing the whole yeet. Like, you know how crazy that's about to be?
80,000 people, man.
All they did was told a story with that, and he's finally gonna get his big moment for all the work that he's put in as a tag team champion, as you know what I'm saying. Then when you turn heel, going into the bloodline story, being like the right hand man for Roman, and then breaking off of that, going on his own, and he's almost. I mean, would you put him up there with the Rock and Roman as far as like the top stars in that family?
Look, he would definitely be top 3 for me, only for this reason. You think about it this way as well. After the Bloodline disbanded, after Roman lost, and after everything that went down, if you look at everyone that was a part of that faction, he's been the most successful. Yes, granted, Solo had his run as the new tribal chief, but he had all the people behind him. He had Tama Tonga, he had, Tamaloa, and Jacob eventually showing up into there to kind of back him up. Right. But Jay did everything on his own. He went to a different show. He rebuilt himself. He did his own thing, and I hate to say it, man, but Big Jim, he's there, but he's at the bottom of the list in terms of guys that have done stuff. Granted, he was injured, but since he's been back, he's more goofy to me than he is kind of someone that I'm endeared to.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard for him to like kind of break on his own, because it's like
now he's kind of on Big Jim.
yeah.
Right, he's trying to find his spot. Like, I mean, the whole no yeet thing. I mean, if he stuck with it, maybe he could have picked up some traction. But it is what it is, bro. Like I said, I mean, the right guy won, in my opinion. And, Chancellor was right. But again, it flew over my head completely. I didn't even think about it because it was just one of those things. It's so organic, right? It's just. It works. It's fine. I have no problem with it. Like I said, we're in a time where we need to transition. We need new stars. We need new people to step up. We can't keep relying on the same 2-4 guys to produce main event after main event. Like that becomes tedious. It becomes monotonous. It becomes boring.
And I said the same thing when I was watching the men's Royal Rumble with my wife. I was just telling her, like, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, none of those guys need to win. They didn't need a Royal Rumble win. And
No,
even though CM Punk never won the Royal Rumble, he didn't need it either. You know what
he
I'm
didn't
saying?
either. But here's something interesting, Mike. I'll tell you what. I saw an interview with CM Punk that he did with ESPN, and they asked him, like, okay, you didn't win it. You're not going to get to the WrestleMania. We don't know that yet, man. There's so much to be done before WrestleMania happens, right?
Yeah,
Who knows what's what? And we're not talking about a 1 day event anymore. It's 2 days, right? So there's a spot for everybody in some way, in some
yeah,
capacity, right? Everyone has an opportunity to get on WrestleMania card,
yeah.
right? There's no shortage of people or matches or days to do it in. So with
Right.
when I look at CM Punk, he said that, and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said, like, look, if this was me younger, CM Punk, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off. But now that I'm older, I appreciate the chase more. The moment will come. Maybe
Yeah,
this year, maybe next year. Like, look at Cody. Everyone thought he should have won at WrestleMania 39,
yeah,
but he didn't. He had to chase for another year before he got it, which made it sweeter. It's a
yeah,
gamble, but it worked,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
This is an opportunity to elevate some new talent, some new guys. And it's a funny thing. The only guy that's new in this scenario is Gunther. Jay's a veteran,
yeah.
but it's new and it's fresh because you would never expected it.
Right. And then it's gonna be kind of messed up for Gunther too, because this like
2 years
he's
in a
gonna
row.
lose to Jey Uso. This is gonna be his second year in a row losing a major title at WrestleMania. Because
Yeah.
last year he lost to Sami Zayn.
But I think Gunther is going to be okay because
Oh yeah.
he,
Oh yeah.
it's just the way he works, the way he talks. And if you look at him, I mean, you really got to be a big fan of WWE and Gunther to know that this man's held basically every title in the company.
Yeah. And had
European,
a long run with every championship he
yeah,
had
he
too.
was NXT European champion,
Yeah. NXT
NXT
UK.
champion,
Yeah.
right? And he held, as Walter, he held that belt forever,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I look at the future and I'm excited for it. We got Braun Breaker, we got Gunther, we got Ludwig Kaiser, we got, I'm waiting. I really wish that Dragunov would have come back by now, but I guess he's not ready. Because
Yeah.
if you guys go back into the annals, into the tapes, look up Gunther or William at that time against Dragunov.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You seen these matches? Those guys
Yeah.
were sick,
Yeah.
right?
That was like during that black and gold NXT
Yeah,
era, and they
yeah,
was like trying to still NXT UK, they were still trying to bring them up or whatever.
right.
Real quick though,
Yeah.
you last week when we did the roundtable, I know you was kind of upset with the Royal Rumble having only 4 matches. It's been rumored that possibly the Royal Rumble could go to 2 nights. Do you think that should happen?
No, I like the Royal Rumble to be one night. And you know what? To be fair, I thought 4 matches it worked, right?
Yeah.
You have to see it. Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I was upset. I didn't enjoy. I didn't appreciate that they're only giving us 4 matches. I felt like, well, what is this? But it worked. It worked out well, right?
Yeah.
And probably the only match that it would have switched up for something else was the 2 out of 3 falls.
You know what? I was about to say the same thing because I was gonna ask you about that match to see
It's a
if
SmackDown match, man.
yeah, yeah.
It truly
The
was.
only thing,
I take nothing away from those guys. All 4 of those guys worked really hard. They put on a great match. The match was good. Nothing against it, but it wasn't a pay-per-view match, in my opinion. And
yeah, yeah.
I think the only thing that came out of that match that made me think anything about it was how bad I felt for Dawkins and Ford.
Oh yeah, yeah. When they
Right? Like,
came out in the end.
well, I just feel bad for those guys because hey, the another 2 guys that weren't in the Rumble.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like nothing against Dawkins, but what does Ford have to do to get a shot, man?
That's true, but like I don't like. I feel like with Montez Ford, like if he was to go solo, he would still kind of be caught in the shuffle. You know what I'm saying?
Perhaps, but I think his character would come out. People really gonna get onto him, right? I mean, all
Yeah,
you need is the fans to support you. Look at Jay,
that's true. That's true.
right?
I'm,
One word, and it's changed the direction of his entire career.
Not even that. Look at Jacob Fatu.
That dude is sick. I told you guys last week. They held him
Hey,
back. They had
yeah,
signed him, but they didn't bring him to TV for 6 months, man.
yeah, yup, yup.
Right?
And honestly, like even the time that when he came in and he was doing this thing, I think he automatically had overdid Solo.
He already has. Where's Solo? Solo never came back.
And I'm surprised they didn't put him in the Rumble either.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? You know, but
Yeah.
but I mean, Jacob is a special talent, man. The guy can talk. The more time he's spending on that mic, he's selling himself more and endearing himself more and more to people. I mean, you look at what these guys have right now coming up the pipelines. This is the time, in my opinion, where they really need to take a gamble. And this is the gamble I'm talking about. Gunther versus Jay is perfect,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right? You know, like, so I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, people are, like I said, people are going to complain all the time about something. It
Oh yeah. Most
doesn't
definitely.
matter.
Most definitely.
It
Most
is what it
definitely.
is, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about that Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens match. Man. Hey.
Look, I'll say this, man. I said this on our show as well. You know, because I've been lucky enough to do work with the indie promotions out here locally. A lot of good friends come from those promotions. You know, I've taken a chair shot. I've been put through a table just because I asked to, because I want to know what it felt like, right?
I know it hurts.
I'm telling you what, we all know what we watch. We all know. Okay, there's no reason to sugarcoat it. We get it. But here's the reality of it, man. Those still hurt. Taking a bump on the canvas still hurts because
Oh yeah.
the foam is probably only that thick
Yeah.
that you're landing on,
Yeah.
right? You got two by sixes, a board, and a piece of foam, right? So that's why technique is so special. That's why everything is so important in terms of how you land and what you're supposed to do. In wrestling,
Right.
you land on your feet. If you watch anyone take a fall, they always land feet first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just the way, it's a technique that you have to learn. So, but those ladders, they're not forgiving. They're real, man.
Oh yeah.
And they were set up solid. They weren't like bouncing or nothing to absorb. You absorbed it all. That Alabama slam that Kevin took, one
Man.
executed beautifully, but what made it beautiful was the way Kevin sold it at the end.
Yup. Yeah. Yeah. That
Right?
and it made you look like, okay, is it really something wrong with him?
Dude,
Like,
I looked at him and go, that motherfucker's broken, man.
yeah. And they said that Cody has suffered some injuries in that.
They both have, man. I mean, look at that power bomb that he took off the side of the ladder, not even the face of the ladder, the side of it, man. It's like
Yeah.
stubbing your toe. It
Yeah,
just,
that was probably like one of the most brutal one-on-one ladder matches that I've seen in a long time. Like,
it was great. It was phenomenal. Those guys worked really hard. Chance even said that, look, I wasn't, really keen on it, but man, after watching that, even he had to admit, like, yeah, those two guys worked really, really hard, man. It was phenomenal. I mean, it was a really good match. And again, unlike the tag team match, I didn't look at my watch once. Like I didn't look
yeah,
at the clock. I was just like immersed into it. Like, wow, these guys are really, really pushing the envelope here. But I almost feel that they felt that they need to because a lot of people were shitting on that whole feud, anyways,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, but I mean, Sammy coming out as well. I'm telling you, man, there's something brewing here. I don't know what it is. I don't understand why Kevin attacked him last night either. That makes no sense to me either.
yeah.
But I guess we'll find out now as we go along here. But I really hope we're not seeing a Kevin and Sammy match at Mania. I don't want to see that.
You know what? And I said this last week when we did the roundtable. I say, man, I just got a feeling that Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins are about to form some type of faction, and they about to go up against CM Punk, Roman Reigns. That's what I'm sensing, because it's like Drew be saying little stuff to Kevin Owens. Drew be saying little stuff to Seth Rollins. Like, if you just look at it, and I'm just like, man, it look like they about to, like, they trying to form something.
And dude, you can't, even though they'll be considered a heel faction, can you blame them for feeling the way they do? I'm just talking storylines, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're staying in the peripheral of the actual story, right?
right.
Can you, based on the story, on their characters, can you really blame them for being angry? I mean, if you look at all the stories that we're talking about, all go back to one individual named Roman Reigns,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Cody helping. Why would Cody help the guy that he was chasing for 2 years? Why would Sammy help him after being destroyed by him? Why would any of these guys want to help Roman the way they did after he came back, right?
Yeah,
And it's like I get where they're coming from, but what I've heard, we're probably going to get Drew versus Damian at Mania.
yeah. I did hear
That's
that.
the
Yeah,
direction. The other thing is, here's something, a tidbit that people may not know about. Did you know that Drew was very upset after his elimination?
yeah. I heard that it was something that L.A. Knight did. Was it L.A. Knight or Logan Paul?
So it was them together, more LA Knight than Logan. I will put it more on LA Knight because as good as Logan is in the ring, he's still green when it comes to psychology and
Oh yeah,
placement and know where he's supposed to be in the ring, right? I
right.
mean, it's a busy scene at the Royal Rumble, obviously. So there's so many things. So what happened is when Damian tossed over Drew, LA Knight and Logan were doing their part, like their pieces
Oh,
in that frame, which Drew felt took away from his elimination
oh,
because
oh. So that's
there was supposed to be more there that those two were supposed to interact,
yeah,
Drew and Damien, but that got lost in the shuffle because LA Knight and basically it's like a photo bomb. They photo bombed the spot,
right. Oh, got you, got
right?
you.
So that pissed off Drew. Now, I'm not angry about him being pissed off. Some people might say, oh, he's crying, he's a baby. No, me, that shows his personality, that shows his passion and his professionalism for his craft because he's looking at the long-term picture at this moment right here. This reaction that I give him should be caught on camera, which will lead and build up to the story that we're trying to make here.
Right,
So
right.
Drew was pissed off that got taken away. And I have no problem with that. That's what that whole beef was. Now Logan, apparently he destroyed some fan's camera.
Mm,
Check it
dang.
out. He grabbed it. He smashed it when he was eliminated.
Well, no. I
So
know
he
he got a. I know he got a match against Rey Mysterio
Monday.
next week to
Yeah,
qualify for the Elimination Chamber.
yeah,
Like, so far we know that John Cena and CM Punk
yeah,
is going to be in the Elimination Chamber.
yeah.
Um, when it's all said, we don't know who the other members will be, but do you think John Cena is going to win this Elimination Chamber match?
No, no,
You
I
don't
don't.
think so?
I don't. I don't think CM Punk's going to win it either, and I don't think Logan's going to win it either. That's based on the fact that he gets past Ray, which he probably will. But the person who wins the elimination chamber isn't in it yet, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, did you watch the post fight, the post show news conference? What they do?
Yeah, yeah,
You heard John Cena speak, right?
yeah,
You heard what he said, right?
yeah. Basically, he earned that right
Well,
to
no.
say,
But he says that he earned the right, yeah, which he has, right? I mean, no one can deny that. The man can show up and say, "Yeah, I'm going to be in this match." Go ahead, you earned it, right? Um, but what he said that I found interesting was it was never his intention to go after number 17, but
"Oh
now he
yeah,
knows that he has to do it because that's what's best for business,
yeah,
right?
right, right."
So now, and again, man, I could be completely wrong, and I said this on our show as well. John Cena wins a world title at WrestleMania, but it's not going to be Cody or Gunther.
Which one you think? Which one you think is going to be?
Throwing it in there, man. I'm just throwing it out to the universe. Joe Henry versus John Cena at Mania for the TNA World Championship. Now, with
Wow,
that, but
why?
does that make it number 17?
I mean, that could. I mean, it would count as. I mean, I don't know
That's because
because
think about it. They say Ric Flair's a 16-time world champion. But
that's true.
14, but 14, 13 or 14 of them came from WCW though, not WWE.
Yeah, And they actually say that Ric Flair actually might be like a 22-time world champion.
Well, if you include the NWA titles and stuff like that as well,
Yeah,
sure, right?
yeah.
Maybe. But in terms of the modern era, I guess, of wrestling, would the TNA World Title, even though considering they have a partnership with WWE, would that? And I ask anyone who's watching right now, would you guys consider the TNA World Title to be number 17 worthy to call it number 17?
I would.
I don't know why I keep coming back to this thought, but I just have a feeling him and Joe Henry are gonna have a program. Cena's not gonna win it. Something's gonna happen. You're talking about cross promotion. What better way to elevate your partner than have the biggest name in wrestling come on your show?
And I think I saw something that Joe Hendry mentioned that he would like to wrestle John Cena too. So hey,
No,
that could be a
he's mentioned it
possibility.
because again, people who don't watch TNA, when he won, like I don't know how long ago it was. I don't know if it's when he won the title, but he called out John Cena at one point,
Yeah, yeah,
right? He's already
yeah.
called him out. They had a beautiful, like, amazing interactions backstage where they sat down and talked for like a half an hour, right? Just imparting knowledge and stuff like that and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I think this. I could be completely wrong, and it can probably not even happen, man. But I don't think the three guys that we know that are in the elimination chamber, well, two for sure, number three next week, we know. I don't think any of those guys are going to win. Chad thinks that we're going to get a Punk Logan program, perhaps at Mania. But based on what I saw after those three guys all got eliminated within a minute of each other, a triple threat between Seth, Punk, and Roman,
I could see that. I could
right?
see that.
That's also a potential matchup that we could
Yeah,
possibly be seeing here. But again, I'm just putting it out there, man. I mean, weirder shit's happened, right?
yeah.
Um, but Joe Henry against John Cena at Mania, man.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But I think Cena's gonna win this elimination chamber match, and I think he's gonna go up against Cody. I don't
And
think.
that's okay too. That's okay too. I have no
Oh,
problem. But the only thing is, I want to see Cody turn heel.
and that could be a possibility too, because you got to think about it. We've already seen Cody versus Roman. I don't really think nobody want to see that at Mania again. I don't think nobody really want to see Cody versus Punk. I don't think nobody want to see Cody versus Drew, Cody versus Seth. We've seen that already.
Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Punk and Cody.
Did they wrestle in A? Did they ever wrestle in AEW
They
against each
never
other?
even crossed paths.
Okay,
They were in
okay,
different directions, right? I mean, if you think about it, when Punk kind of basically showed up as Cody started to kind of pack his bags to leave,
okay. You
right?
right. Yeah,
So
yeah,
they never really had any kind of interaction. They never touched. They never did anything together that way. It was just more kind of like they were there, sort of a deal, right? But the promo that he cut on Cody on SmackDown was really good.
yeah, yeah,
That was a good promo, right? And you know what? Maybe Punk does win. I don't like I said, this is the beauty of this year's WrestleMania. There's just
yeah,
so much. What we
yeah,
think today is going to be completely different by the end of the Elimination Chamber.
yeah.
And what makes this Mania even more special is the fact that it's not early April. We're going into late April. So we have a lot of time to build up some interesting dynamics here, man.
Oh yeah,
Now, I
definitely,
really wanted to
definitely.
go back to the women's rumble as well. Remember, I said to you guys last week, we're starting to see cracks in Bianca Belair as she's turning to turn.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
what she did,
yeah,
right? How many people picked up on that?
yeah. Cause
Huh?
what was it when
Naomi and Jordan Grace were hugging.
yeah, and then Bianca Belair pulled her by the hair, was like
Yeah,
what's this? Yeah,
exactly.
I think when it's all said and done, I think she's gonna be the one that attacked Jade Cargill. I thought it was gonna be Charlotte Flair,
Oh, yeah.
but since that I saw that Charlotte Flair won the Rumble,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely Bianca Belair. I
Bianca.
give a small chance to Naomi, but I definitely think it's Bianca Belair. She been definitely showing heel tendencies the last couple of months.
right? It's coming slowly, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna blow up here, and this is where we're gonna get it. Um, I thought it would have been fitting to have Jade come back if she was ready. It would have been great to have her come back and confront it that way, and
Yeah,
kind of get that ball rolling. But I guess she's not ready yet, or she's not healed up completely. But the only thing I would say that I was disappointed by in that women's rumble was the fact that Nikki Bella came out. I was so hoping Becky would, but
yeah. I
I
wasn't even mad that Nikki Bella came out. You know what I'm saying? Because it was rumored that she's trying to get back into WWE,
I get it, but
and
after all the shit that she talked about them,
oh yeah, she
and now
did.
you're trying to get back into the good grace. That's what bothered me, right? I mean, biggest pop, okay, biggest pop of the night, the whole night belonged to one, Alexa Bliss, man. I'm
Oh yeah,
so happy to
yeah,
see her come back.
yeah. And you saw on the back of her jacket it said "Fiend
Means forever.
Forever."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to Bray. Now, I will say, I think that pop was Bray inspired to a certain extent. I don't know if her storyline with Bray or anything would have made it more or less, but I really believe deep down that that was Fiend and Bray Wyatt inspired Pop,
oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
right? Like speaking of those guys, where were the White Sick? They weren't even in the show.
You know what? Well, from what I've been reading, one of the members of the YS6 is injured, so they just taking them all off until which whoever one is fully recovered, then they're gonna bring them all
Well,
back.
dude, the only reason, in my opinion, that you would not put him on TV if his Uncle Howdy was hurt. The rest of them aren't just there. In
Yeah.
my opinion, you can still run it.
Do you
Not like
like?
the
Do you think that the YS6 kind of lost that aura, or do you think they could get it back?
they're gonna have to fight really hard to get it back. I think the company did a really poor job in bringing them together the way they did, and it came out really great. It was nostalgia. It was beautiful. But we live in a generation of people who have a 30-second attention span. And if you
Yeah,
don't give them something, if you don't give them something continuously, you're going to get lost in the shuffle, right? I mean,
yeah.
here's the problem with wrestling overall. If you're over 7 feet tall and weigh 400 pounds, what can you do? Because by all accounts, if you win the world championship, you should be champion until you decide you don't want to be champion anymore. Why do you think Andre never got the belt
Oh
per
yeah, because
se?
he'd have never lost
Well, that's what I'm
it.
saying. Why do you think,
Yeah,
like Omos, a guy like him, you
yeah.
can only do so much with the guy. And they kind of hurt the guy already by having Braun beat him up, by having
Seth
Lashley beat him up,
Rollins.
right? Seth Rollins beat him up. I mean, come on, man. Like, how you want to bring in these bigger than life talents? What can you do, right? I mean, you got to be a stocky big man like a Bam Bam Bigelow or a Bronson Reed to still have that believability that you can win a championship and someone can beat you for it, right? But with these big men, and guys like the outside of the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, and Bray struggled with the character. There was times where people were completely, you know, backwards with it, right? With
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
right? So he went in his ups and downs. So like, you get a faction like the Wyatt Six, which is great on paper, which is great, for everything. But how much can you keep doing with them, man? Like, how many times are you going to watch them get their ass kicked and laugh as they're getting beaten up,
yeah. That's true.
right?
Because it was like when they first debuted them, when they went through the back and how they just beat everybody up, and then how they all came out and did the
Yeah,
little pose.
yeah,
That's how they should have been from there. They should have every other week or every week they should have been beating somebody down. They should have been,
sure.
and they should have kept that going on.
100%. I
And
mean, it's kind of like the Nexus.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, you got to go back a little bit here to remember all this, but remember when the Nexus came out that very first time and they destroyed the entire set,
yeah, yeah,
right? They
yeah,
destroyed everything. You're like, oh my God, like you're watching this, and you're like, whoa. Right at that time, that was next level. You never saw that. They beat everyone up, right? I mean, nobody was safe that day. And
yeah,
after that moment, there was nothing they could do. It's like this, okay? as far as I'm concerned, no matter what Jake Paul does, and if I had to pick one of the Paul brothers, I'd always back up, you know, yeah, exactly. Brock versus Omos was, that's all it was. Exactly, man. Well said. But if you think about it, it's like I lost my thought, man. I got carried away with that comment. Right, Nexus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. After that, there was nothing they could do. The Paul brothers. Okay. Now, I have nothing against Logan Paul in terms of his success. I have nothing against what he's been able to do in the ring. I applaud him. I want everybody to win. Okay. When it comes to in this industry, I want every podcaster to get a piece of that pie. I've told you this on the phone, right?
Oh yeah,
I want
definitely.
all of us to win, but I can't stand that guy. Just can't stand him. If I had to choose between the two brothers and which one I'm going to stand behind, I'll go Jake any day.
No, you said you can't stand Logan, huh?
I as a person, as an individual, as just outside the character, just something about the man. I just can't put my finger on him. I won't say I hate him because I don't like to say the word hate. It's a horrible word, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
reserved for the finest of the fine, right? I can't hate someone I don't know, but just something about the guy just makes me cringe. Which brings me back to that point that I was trying to say. No matter who Jake Paul fights now, he will never get the numbers and he'll never get the same value that he did against Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can agree
And
with
the
that.
same could be said about what happened with the Nexus, and the same could be said what happened after with the Wide Six. How do you top those entrances? What do you do? Right? I mean,
Yeah,
not everything can be pre-filmed. Eventually, you're going to have to get out there in real time on real TV, and they haven't impressed. I'm sorry, they haven't. They haven't done anything that makes me go, "Wow, I want to see more of these guys." Like I don't even miss them. That's the funny part, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
You right.
I don't miss Omos. I don't miss Nexus at all. Like, I thought they had their moment, but they didn't know what to do with them after that. What do you do? How do you top that?
Remember in that Nexus story when John Cena had joined the Nexus?
Yeah.
I think that would have been a perfect opportunity to turn John Cena heel. If they were ever if they were to ever to do it, I think that would have been the time to do it right there. Kind of put, have him as the leader,
Yeah.
have Wade Barrett up under his wing, kind of,
Yeah.
kind of take that tutelage, and
Yeah.
then just make
There's a
start kind
lot.
of, yeah,
There's a lot. Like Hogan had to leave WWE to become a heel.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
At that time, in that time, compared to where we are now, wrestling was merch based. Okay. It was TV based and it was merch based.
Mm-hmm.
And who was selling the most merch?
Right
John Cena.
now,
Well,
oh
no, at
yeah,
that
John
time,
Cena.
John Cena.
Oh yeah,
Turning
John
him,
Cena. Yeah,
turning him
definitely.
heel would have been a financial, not a disaster, but it would have been a financial downfall for the company.
That's true. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And I
so
have to
that was
think.
probably
Yeah,
what McMahon wouldn't have done it. Even if he knew that it would have done something, how long would have it lasted? Right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Hogan had his run for what, a year and a half, and yeah, he sold a billion NWA t-shirts, NWO t-shirts. And we
and
still
they
see them.
still sell it
We're
to
still
this
selling
day.
them, right? But I mean, those that's what I'm talking about. It's just kind of like, what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah, yeah, because I think even him, that's one of the reasons why he didn't turn heel because of all the stuff that he did, like the make the wish and stuff
Yeah,
like that. That definitely would have hurt him, but it
yeah.
still would have been cool to see heel John Cena. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Like you
saying?
said, we're in his final run. Maybe we're gonna get to see something this year. Who
And I
knows?
think he still could have pulled it off without the bad words. Like, I think he could have pulled it off, but I get what you're saying. It would have been hard, and I think that's one of the reasons why Bianca Belair hasn't went heel yet. But even though I
She's not
still
pushing
think it's,
merch.
huh?
She doesn't push any merch.
She does it, but I think she just her being a role model to the young girls. I think that's one of the reasons why
Well,
she
fair enough.
didn't.
So was Bailey though,
Yeah, yeah.
and she
Becky
was pushing
Lynch.
merch. Everyone was wearing a hug her shirt or whatever, the hugging shirt that she had at that time,
Yeah, yeah,
right? But I mean, eventually a character has to evolve, man. I mean, you can only not so many people can stay in the same spot forever,
yeah. I
right?
agree.
You know, it is. There's only a handful of guys in this industry that can stay in one direction their whole career and not be phased by it. Have you ever seen a heel Ray?
I wouldn't want to see it hell
No, but have you
heel
though?
Rey Mysterio.
But have you? Have you?
Especially not at his age right now. You know what
No,
I'm
no. But I'm
saying?
just saying,
Because
throughout his whole career, the guy's been a face his whole career,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So there's not many guys. It's kind of like hockey players. Like how many guys outside of maybe I can count them on my hand. Steve Eiserman being one that stayed with the same team his entire career,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux. I mean, Wayne Gretzky is the only guy that boggles everyone's mind still. Like how could he have gotten traded from Edmonton? You know what I mean? It's just like there's
Yeah,
just some guys that can pull it off, and there's 99% of them who can't and have to change their gimmick, right? So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Real quick before we get out of here,
sure.
WWE Evolve. I don't know if you heard of it. It's basically it's
Old
gonna be
clips.
a new show on Tubi that's supposed to
Yeah,
be for all the stars that are under the WWE
yeah,
ID contract.
yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's on Tubi, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I saw a promotion for it. I can't really comment too much because I can't remember what I saw. I won't lie, but I mean, it looked really fun. It looked good. I'm actually interested in it. Something else to tune into, right?
yeah.
So, it should be fun. I don't know what to expect from it. What's it about again?
It's just basically um a show. It's a wrestling show, but it's gonna be basically all the independent wrestlers that they signed under the
Oh,
WWID program.
I got it. I
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. I mean, look, again, we're talking about. I won't say this is a transitional time, but we're getting pretty close to. Thank you, brother.
thank you.
Um, I think we're getting to a stage now in wrestling again where people have to step up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Roman's getting older, Seth is getting older, Punk is old.
yeah,
How much more are we going to see of these guys? So this year in 2025, I believe we need to see Braun step up more, right? Breaker.
yeah, yeah,
They need to do more with Ludwig, which I think is an amazing talent,
yeah,
right? And there's a few other names as well on the other side of the roster, on both sides of the roster, that they really need to utilize right now and push the envelope. Because right now, I'm starting to see what I was saying. We're getting to that point right now where some of these names are starting to get older, and you need to push in the new guys, right?
yeah.
So I believe we're right between the Attitude Era and the aggression or ruthless aggression era again.
Yeah. And Triple H even said it. He said he feel like this is probably like the best era. He would even say this era is better than the Attitude Era. And it's hard to be like you know what I'm saying?
It's apples and oranges, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the
yeah.
shit that they did during the Attitude Era would not fly with this woke world that we live in today,
Oh no, definitely,
right?
definitely.
Like you wouldn't see that fat guy with the baby oil. What was his name again?
Um,
You remember
I
him?
know who you talking about. Dog, I cannot think of his name.
He
I
wore
know
like the
exactly
real
who
tidy
you talking
whities.
about.
He wore the tidy whities, and he always had the oil and all that
Yeah,
stuff. What was his
yeah,
name? You know who I'm talking about, right?
yeah. I
That
think his
that, that
last
wouldn't
name was
fly.
Johnson or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Big Dick Johnson or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. Yup.
Right? We will never get to see Big Dick Johnson today without
Nah,
the world losing his shit,
nah.
right?
Yeah.
The things that they used to say to each other in the Attitude Era is what made it the Attitude Era,
Oh yeah, definitely,
right?
definitely,
I mean,
most
if
definitely.
anything, that Attitude Era, as great as it was, that was the farthest thing from wrestling than wrestling. It was everything else but the wrestling that made it the Attitude Era.
Yup. That was that Jerry Springer era.
Exactly. Like I watched it for the matches, but I watched it more for the promos and who's going to say shit to what.
Right, right.
You're not going to get Edge and Lita in the middle of the ring with no clothes on again,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
Right. Bras and panty matches are a thing of the past, and I have no problem with it. Don't get me wrong. We don't need to see that in wrestling. I get that completely, but that's what made the Attitude Era the Attitude Era.
yeah.
right?
They used to wrestle in big old pools of like
Exactly.
pudding and just goofy stuff.
This era though, it is fueled by social media. Everything that
Yeah,
you see on wrestling now, not necessarily doesn't necessarily have to happen on Raw, SmackDown, or any program. Most of it happens on social media now.
yeah, definitely.
Right,
Yeah,
the self promotion, everything else that they're doing, like, oh, this happened earlier today on YouTube. Oh fuck, man, I don't watch YouTube during the day. How would I know this happened?
right.
Right, like, it's just those kind of things. That's what makes this era different. That's what makes this era look bigger. I
Yeah,
mean, I can equate it to this. Back in the 90s, again, I wish the professor was here because he could back me up. Probably nobody had a camera phone.
nah, nope.
Right, we had pagers. Do you know what that is, kids? Let me
they
know in the comments if you know what a
wouldn't
pager
even
is.
know what that was.
Okay. We have pagers, right?
Yeah,
And so that's the generation we grew up in, and we only saw what they wanted us to see.
that's true.
Whereas today, everyone's capturing footage of this, this, and this. It's almost like, yeah, kayfabe is dead. I mean, the curtain call killed kayfabe. I get that, but now they've torn down the fourth wall completely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because all the footage that we see, half the footage I'm looking for is from the fans, not even from what the cameraman's giving us anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what makes this era special, is because of the amount of people it's reaching to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wrestling is reaching so many people, and it's crazy. Like that WWE YouTube channel got like over what 100 million people or something like that.
Easy, easy.
Yeah,
But the reality of it is, it's like, okay, so you have all these people, then why? What's going on with the product? Make it better,
yeah.
right?
And I think it's definitely gotten better in the last couple of years since Triple H has taken over. He still got some stuff to work on,
I would
like
love to hear
anybody.
Chad's tell you his opinion on that.
I, I take it he's not a fan of Triple H.
It's not that he's not a fan of Triple H. He thinks he needs to do a better job of booking.
I,
Um, I it's an ongoing debate on our show, right? And it doesn't help that I'm a huge Triple H fan. Like, if I had to pick my top two guys that I love the most, for me it was always Triple H and Undertaker,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And those were my favorite wrestlers as a kid growing up. So for me, I like what Triple H is doing, but it's hard not to have to listen to Chance, because he makes valid points, right? They can do better. They can be better. I think, there are times where Vince should come back, because if you look at it, there are more flubs on the mic, there's more flubs in the ring than there were ever in the last 2 years.
yeah,
And that never would have happened with Vince being there.
yeah. But I
Also,
think
with Vince not being there, people have to pay fucking $1,600 to go to WrestleMania.
yeah, that's right. That's true too. Nosebleed seats, like what, five hundred
1600
dollars, 600.
1600 for both nights.
That's crazy.
We broke it down today. Because I really wanted to go, right?
Yeah,
Flight would probably be $700. Okay, to Vegas.
yeah,
Return. Okay, so 700 for the flight. If we go Thursday to Tuesday, the least possible time spent there, even at the cheapest hotel, you're looking at maybe $1,200 in accommodations.
yep,
So where are we at? $1,900.
yep.
Okay. Now we're looking at $2,500 if we buy the WrestleMania tickets.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're at $2,500 now, right? Guess what? I want to go to SmackDown and I want to go to the Hall of Fame. That's another $800-900.
yeah, yeah.
Now I want to go to FanFest one day and check that out. That's another $200 to get in the door before I even buy anything. If Raw is in Vegas on Monday, I want to go to the Raw after Mania.
And that's not even including like the little fanatics thing that they gonna have
Well,
down
that's what I'm
there.
saying. The FanFest, right?
Yeah, yeah,
All of that. Okay, so shows alone, airfare and accommodations, you're looking close to $5,000, $6,000 there right off the bat. Now, because I'm converting my poor Canadian dollar into a US currency, it's probably going to cost me close to 8 to 9,000 Canadian total. Hey,
Ooh.
Mike D, guess what? I haven't eaten yet this weekend.
Yeah, and that's not even including any souvenirs you want to grab
Merch
too.
or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like I gotta eat McDonald's and Subway the whole time I'm there.
Right. You're right. You want to eat it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe have a little burger and some fries or something. Maybe a little some
Whenever
wings.
whenever I go to Vegas for the boxing, I always say to myself, I'm entitled to one solid meal somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind getting my meals throughout the day at the kiosks or going to a Subway, whatever, man. Food is food, right?
Yeah.
But there's that one time you want to go to, like, Gordon Ramsay's burger joint, or you want to go to Guy Ferrero's kind of whatever he has, and you want something different. You want something cool, right? To say, yeah, I
Yeah.
had this, right?
Yeah.
You can't even do that, man. It's a ripoff. So I believe we're planning for September for the Canelo Crawford fight now.
Okay. All
That's in
right.
Vegas in September, and I hear it's going to happen at Allegiant too.
Cool. Cool.
So maybe we'll go there instead, because I don't want to disappoint myself. So I'm letting myself know now in my own head. Yeah, maybe this is not going to happen. It- it's a down payment on a fucking car, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully somewhere WWE just wake up and lower the ticket prices, because I mean, if you don't got that long money, man, you can forget about going to a wrestling show.
Ari is just wanting to recoup his money that he spent on both those companies,
It makes sense.
and by canceling 70% of the house shows, this is why he's jacked up all the ticket prices.
Yeah, that's right, because it's not as many house shows as it used to be.
No,
Because
they've cut them. They've cut them, by a huge margin.
yeah, yeah,
So they're trying to recoup all their money back in these shows here, man. And it's unfortunate, right? And yeah, I've been victim of it. I went to Survivor Series, but I went because we don't get many big events out here on
yeah,
our side. Toronto, Calgary, they get all the big shows. We
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
when we get something big like that, you gotta let it go if you're there.
Definitely, definitely.
And it doesn't hurt as bad because I can just drive home and go to my own bed,
Right, right.
right?
Yep.
So, but anyways, brother, man, I tell you what, man, I gotta wrap it up. I gotta get
All
going here.
right. I appreciate you stopping by. Real quick, you want to do any plugs, any shout outs?
Dude, boys and girls, I'm Bobby Sampson, my co-host in crime, Mr. Chance Michaels. We run a podcast called Samp and Chance. We're the only, well, I'm sure there's other guys out here on the West Coast who do what we do, but they don't do it as good as we do. We're unbiased. We tell the truth, and a lot of times the truth hurts, but that's just the way we do the business, man. And yeah, next time we'll bring Chance onto the show, and we'll do that for
Definitely.
sure. And but yeah, guys, check us out. We're at Samp and Chance on YouTube. You know what? Just fucking go Samp and Chance, and you'll find us on all the major platforms. Like and subscribe to our show. You'll love it. It's different. It's fresh. And yeah, man, that's all I got to say about that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Once again, thank you for stopping by
Oh,
for
thank
the
you, Mickey.
Royal. No problem. No problem. Thank you for stopping by for the Royal Rumble review. I'm your boy Mike D. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and
Twitch.
we will definitely catch you again on another live streaming.
Definitely. Oh,
Peace.
quickly.
Oh, go ahead.
Super Bowl pick.
Super Bowl pick. I am going with the Chiefs to three.
Fair enough. Me, I don't care.
I kind of feel the same way because the Lions got eliminated.
Well, I
But
mean, first off, I'm a Steelers fan, right?
yeah, I'm a Lions and
Right. So why would I
yeah.
care for Philly?
That's true. That's true.
Now, my brother, he's a Denver Broncos fan. So just based on that, there's no way in hell I could cheer for Casey.
Right. Right. AFC West. You're right.
Yeah. Right. So for me, I really don't care. In fact, I might just watch wrestling.
Hey, I definitely feel you. I definitely feel you.
All right, man.
All
Love
right.
it.
All right. Once again, Mike D, this is Wrestling from the 313 Live, and we are out. We will holler at you again.
Awesome.
Peace.
God bless. Take care. All right. Thank you,
Peace.
brother.
All right.